Imagine reaching the peak of your career. Influence, recognition, financial stability, and then one day, your body refuses to cooperate. Your tongue stops. Your strength disappears. This happened to Imam Al-Ghazali, not because he was sick, but because he realized something about success that terrified him. By the end of this video, you'll have one experiment you can run this week that will show you, in your own body, how much your work and wealth actually own you. If your body has ever resisted the life you worked so hard to build, stay with this. Part 1. The breakdown that shouldn't have happened. From the outside, Ghazali had everything. He was the most celebrated scholar in Baghdad. Students filled halls to hear him speak. Prestige, income, authority. He wasn't struggling financially. He wasn't obscure. He wasn't doubting theology. He was winning, and collapse during failure is understandable. Collapse during success is terrifying. At first, it was subtle. A hesitation before speaking, a dryness in his throat, moments where words that once flowed effortlessly felt heavy. He dismissed it as fatigue. But then it escalated. He stood to lecture, opened his mouth, and nothing came out. Silence. His body refused. Doctors couldn't fix it, because this wasn't physical illness. It was identity fracture. He later admitted something devastating. Outwardly, he was teaching for Allah. Inwardly, he loved being needed. He loved being admired. He loved the warmth of reputation. And when that warmth became necessary to feel secure, his body revolted. After this collapse, he didn't simply take a break. He resigned from one of the most prestigious positions in the Muslim world. He left Baghdad. He left his salary. He left the applause. For years, he wandered in relative anonymity between Damascus, Jerusalem, and the sacred cities of Makkah and Medina, not because knowledge was wrong, but because attachment had infected it. He later confessed something terrifyingly honest. He realized he was not afraid of losing Allah. He was afraid of losing reputation. Imagine that level of self-honesty, to look at your own success and admit, I may love the spotlight more than the source. Now, here's the uncomfortable bridge to you. Your version might not be losing speech. It might be Sunday dread, tightness in your chest before meetings, unexplained fatigue before major opportunities, a quiet internal resistance even though everything looks good on paper. What if what you call burnout is your nervous system refusing to be owned? Part 2. How success quietly becomes identity. Here's what makes this story uncomfortable. Money rarely corrupts loudly. It integrates quietly. First, it becomes comfort, then control, then identity. And once it becomes identity, losing it feels like losing yourself. Ask yourself honestly, if your income dropped 40% tomorrow, would you feel inconvenience or humiliation? If your title disappeared, would you feel relief or erasure? Think about when your bonus email hits. Do you relax, or do you immediately open another tab? Compare, calculate, plan how to never lose this level again. That reaction is not greed. It is security becoming identity. And once security becomes identity, you start living defensively, slightly more guarded, slightly less free, slightly more afraid of fluctuation. Ghazali described 3 relationships a person can have with wealth. Wealth in the hand, wealth in the heart, wealth as identity. Wealth in the hand is harmless. You use it, you move it, you release it. Wealth in the heart is heavy. You think about it constantly. You measure yourself against it. Wealth as identity is dangerous, because if it shakes, you shake. The tragedy is that most people believe their wealth is only in their hands, but their anxiety reveals it has already moved into their heart. But here is the deeper layer most people miss. Part 3. The rare criterion most people overlook. Ghazali did not divide people into rich and poor. He divided them into those who own wealth and those who are owned by wealth. And the sign you are owned is not how much you possess. It is how much losing it disturbs you. He taught that attachment is not proven by indulgence. It is proven by agitation. If the thought of loss creates inner turbulence, that turbulence reveals what your heart depends on. Two people can hold the same amount of wealth. One sleeps peacefully. The other checks numbers obsessively. Outwardly identical, inwardly opposite. And here's the radical insight. Ghazali warned that fear of poverty can be more spiritually damaging than poverty itself, because fear keeps the heart in contraction, and a contracted heart cannot experience true trust. And here's another layer most people overlook. He taught that the way wealth leaves your hand reveals more about you than the way it enters it. Anyone can celebrate earning, but watch your body when you give. Does irritation surface? Calculation? A subtle resistance? That reaction is not about the amount, it is about control. Pause for a moment. When you imagine losing status, what rises first? Strategy or fear? That reaction is theological. It tells you what you truly believe sustains you. The moral architecture of money. Here's what makes this even more astonishing. Ghazali wasn't only analyzing personal attachment, he was analyzing entire economic systems. And long before him, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned, whoever hoards wealth, Allah will punish him. Sahih Muslim. The warning was never about earning, it was about hoarding. Not wealth, but frozen wealth. Ghazali expanded this prophetic principle. He argued that money is a tool, not the goal. Its value does not come from the metal itself. It comes from the trust behind it. Without trust, money collapses into illusion. When wealth is hoarded and removed from circulation, it becomes what he called dead money. And dead money harms more than the soul. It weakens society because money is meant to move through hands, markets, families, communities. When it stagnates, corruption spreads. He warned that debasing currency is a hidden form of theft. He condemned manipulation and profiteering in times of crisis. And he linked economic collapse not to scarcity, but to corruption. Centuries ago, he identified what we still see: inflation, financial manipulation, markets detached from morality. At the root of all of it, trust. Without trust, economies fracture. Without trust in Allah, hearts contract. So when Ghazali spoke about money owning you, he wasn't being mystical. He was being structurally precise. Personal attachment and economic corruption begin in the same place: a heart that trusts wealth more than truth. Part 4. Your nervous system knows before you do. Your bank account lives in an app. Attachment lives in your body. When income rises, does your breathing slow, or does your vigilance increase? When income drops, do you recalibrate calmly, or does your stomach tighten? Be honest. If your mood shifts with financial fluctuation, that's not just strategy, that's dependence. And dependence always produces vigilance. You become slightly more guarded, slightly less spontaneous, slightly more calculating, not immoral, just tighter. Imagine two people. One earns significantly, but sleeps deeply. If income dips, he adjusts and trusts. Another earns the same, but lives in background anxiety, checking markets, refreshing dashboards, quietly fearing decline. Same numbers, different nervous systems, different masters. Before we continue, pause this for 3 seconds and notice what your chest and stomach are doing right now. That reaction is data. Your body often reveals attachment before your theology does. Part 5. The experiment. Now test this. This week, give something meaningful, not symbolic. Meaningful enough that you feel it. For you, it might be a donation that makes you pause, or a gift that stretches you just enough that your chest tightens for a second. Then observe your breath that night, your urge to mentally recover the amount, your internal dialogue. If irritation surfaces, don't suppress it. That irritation is revealing your hidden contract with money. After you give, sit quietly and ask, what did I just feel? Scarcity, relief, fear, freedom. If nothing shifts, ignore this video. But if even 5% of your anxiety loosens, you've touched what Ghazali discovered. Because the goal is not reducing wealth, it is reducing ownership. Repeat it weekly. You're not shrinking your finances, you're strengthening your freedom. Final reflection. The real question. One day, every account freezes, every dashboard closes, every title dissolves. What remains is not your portfolio, it is your posture. Imagine lying at the end of your life. Your accounts still exist, but you cannot access them. What will matter then? The size of what you held, or the state of the heart that held it? Did wealth make you expansive or vigilant, soft or guarded, trusting or tense? Ghazali walked away once, so he wouldn't be owned forever. You don't need to abandon your career, but you do need to know who owns your identity, because money is never just money. It is forming you. The only question is, into what? But Ghazali was not the only one who wrestled with power, ego, and attachment. In the coming episodes, we'll explore how Rumi dissolved identity through love, how Ibn Arabi redefined reality itself, and how other great scholars faced wealth, influence, and the illusion of control in their own eras. If you want to understand the inner architecture behind these minds, not just their poetry, but their psychology, subscribe and stay tuned, because the crisis in Baghdad was only the beginning.